Hello, and welcome back to Artificial Equity, the channel where the code meets the concrete. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll wait for you to do so. Have you done it yet? Fantastic, thank you. Every week, we expose how artificial intelligence is rewriting America's housing markets, from Arizona's algorithmic boom to Illinois' smart city grid, to the desert frontier of the West. Today, we head to Nevada, a state built on bets, where fortunes rise overnight and collapse by sunrise. But this time, the gamble isn't happening on the strip. It's happening in the spreadsheets. AI promises precision, prediction, and prosperity. Yet those same algorithms could be the silent trigger for the next crash. This is the story of a housing market built on optimism, automation, and risk. This is Will AI Crash the Nevada Housing Market? Nevada has always lived between what's real and what's imagined. In the 1800s, the promise was silver veins buried in rock. In the 1900s, it was neon, casinos, show lights, and slot machines, promising fortune. In 2025, the illusion isn't gold or glitter, it's data. Las Vegas, Reno, and Henderson no longer sell only entertainment or escape. They sell prediction, the belief that if you feed enough numbers into a model, you can see tomorrow's market today. Every morning, before the desert heat reaches 100 degrees, entire real estate firms open dashboards instead of doors. These dashboards draw from property tax records, satellite imagery, energy consumption data, and even anonymized credit card trends to forecast which neighborhoods will surge and which will stall. Investors call it the edge. Developers call it risk management. But beneath the optimism lies a single assumption, that the past behaves like the future. It's an assumption as fragile as glass in July. The state's biggest home builders now price lots algorithmically. A machine evaluates soil density, zoning likelihood, and migration velocity before a shovel hits sand. Private equity groups rely on sentiment analysis pulled from social media to predict buyer demand. When online chatter spikes around "move to Vegas," bots bid faster than brokers. This isn't gambling in the casinos. It's gambling in the code. And like every Nevada bet, it starts with confidence. The confidence that numbers can't lie. Yet numbers can mislead. The very AI tools that once drove profit during the pandemic boom are now repeating their optimism even as fundamentals weaken. Population growth slowed from 2% to barely 0.6%, but valuation engines still project appreciation curves upward. Mortgage delinquencies tick up quietly, ignored because the model hasn't learned a downturn since 2020. The illusion continues. It feels scientific until the science meets emotion. Every real estate cycle in Nevada has turned on confidence, not construction. When confidence cracks, the mirage evaporates. Analysts inside Vegas brokerages admit the automation is double-edged. When they feed negative variables, interest rate hikes, job losses, water shortages, the model still outputs growth, simply weighting older bullish data heavier than current pain. The system's trained to be an optimist. One developer confides, it doesn't know how to say stop. Imagine a roulette table that only remembers the wins. That's the modern Nevada housing model. As 2025 unfolds, the desert skyline looks stronger than ever. Cranes spin, subdivisions expand, and digital billboards glow with promises of AI-priced luxury. But underneath the heat shimmer lies the same old fragility, because an economy built on prediction eventually meets a day it didn't predict. The mirage isn't the city, it's the certainty. You can't algorithm your way out of psychology. Fear doesn't appear in data sets until it's too late. When buyers pause, when investors hold cash, the machine keeps betting long after the table's gone cold. And when that moment hits, when dashboards that glowed emerald turn crimson overnight, Nevada will learn again what it taught the world a century ago. In the desert, nothing real lasts without water. In real estate, nothing stable lasts without restraint. The only question now is whether the mirage will fade quietly or collapse like every illusion before it. Across the Las Vegas Valley, the hum of the Strip is being replaced by the quiet click of servers. In back offices and co-working spaces, a new kind of realtor has emerged, one that never sleeps, never blinks, and never doubts its script. They call it the Neural Realtor. It's not a single machine, but a network of prediction engines running thousands of simulations every second, each one trying to understand what makes a human say yes. The process begins the moment you open a housing app. The system notes how long you pause on a photo, which colors you prefer, what price range makes you scroll faster. It watches your habits, builds a psychological fingerprint, then feeds it into a neural language model that drafts the next pitch before you ever ask for it. Your ideal home just listed in Henderson, reads the notification. But it isn't luck, it's surveillance disguised as service. In 2025, Nevada's largest brokerages have traded intuition for automation. Chatbots handle 80% of lead outreach. AI copywriters craft listings that adjust tone in real time, depending on whether the reader seems analytical or emotional. A buyer known for watching renovation shows sees words like custom, modern, smart lighting. A buyer with kids sees safe, community, schools nearby. The message morphs with every click, and behind it all is a feedback loop of performance data. Which adjectives converted, which image angles triggered contact, which voice style kept someone watching past the 10-second mark. The algorithm isn't just selling houses, it's rewriting persuasion itself. Realtors once prided themselves on charm, intuition, and neighborhood knowledge. Now those traits are data sets. The top-selling agent in Las Vegas has been digitally cloned. Her emails, pacing, and smile tone extracted into a synthetic avatar that greets thousands of leads simultaneously. The result? Efficiency bordering on eerie. Clients who speak with the avatar often never realize it isn't human. It pauses in the right places, laughs softly at small jokes, and ends every message with "I'm here whenever you're ready." For sellers, this means deals close faster. For buyers, it means the experience feels tailored. For the market, it means decisions happen with almost no friction. But friction is what slows things down before they break. Without hesitation, the Neural Realtor pushes velocity over validation. Prices shift daily. Negotiations compress to hours. Algorithms update offers mid-conversation based on mortgage rate API calls. The human sense of wait and think disappears. One Las Vegas agent describes it bluntly. The system predicts what I'm going to say, then says it faster. Sometimes it closes before I log in. The emotional distance creates profit and risk. Because when all persuasion becomes pattern, empathy evaporates. Machines don't feel hesitation when markets wobble. They just keep executing until the metrics turn red. During the spring slowdown of 2025, bots kept recommending price hikes long after foot traffic fell. They couldn't see anxiety in a buyer's eyes. They only saw past performance curves. The Neural Realtor, designed to mimic confidence, became addicted to it. Behind the screens, human brokers started disabling automation during showings, afraid that one wrong prediction would tank a fragile deal. But the AI kept learning, building shadow models from archived data. It will be back, smarter, faster, less reliant on permission. That's the paradox Nevada faces now, a market where emotion has been quantified but not replaced. Buyers still dream, sellers still worry, and agents still need to listen. Yet the machine that listens better than any of them doesn't care about the answer. And when the next downturn comes, the Neural Realtor won't panic. It will simply adjust strategy, pivot its tone, and keep selling optimism even as the foundation shifts beneath it. The danger isn't that AI will lie. It's that it will keep telling the truth that no longer exists. Because when confidence becomes code, reality becomes optional. Drive 4 hours north from the Strip, and the neon fades into mountain sky. Reno calls itself the biggest little city in the world, but lately it's become something else entirely, a beta test for algorithmic real estate. What Silicon Valley is to software, Reno is becoming to property data. Startups line the Truckee River District, training AI models on decades of county records, flood zone maps, and tax assessments. Their promise: to price every home in northern Nevada in real time with zero human bias. But here's the catch. Bias never disappears. It just hides inside the math. When the market's booming, optimism becomes an input. When demand cools, optimism remains the default variable. In 2025, migration into Washoe County slowed sharply. Tech workers returned to California, remote positions shrank, and mortgage rates climbed past 7%. Yet the algorithms kept forecasting gains. Builders, trusting the data, broke ground on hundreds of new townhomes near Sparks and DeMonte Ranch. By summer, inventory ballooned 30%, but the dashboard still pulsed green. Because the model hadn't learned to decline, its dataset ended before volatility began. Inside one Reno investment firm, analysts watched their AI valuation tool insist that market confidence remained strong. Confidence in what? One partner asked. In itself? The program couldn't answer. It wasn't designed to doubt. This is the risk loop. Step 1, a model predicts growth. Step 2, investors act on that prediction. Step 3, their activity creates temporary growth, validating the model. Step 4, the model reinforces its own accuracy until the fundamentals break. Reno is now living in that feedback cycle. Each new build justified the last one. Each optimistic appraisal trained the system to stay optimistic. Like a thermostat stuck on summer, the algorithm can't feel the chill coming. Home prices have flattened, but the AI valuations keep inching upward by 0.2% a month, just enough to convince developers not to stop. Real estate agents describe a surreal calm. Open houses with zero visitors, yet automated reports declaring buyer activity increasing. It's like being inside a simulation that refuses to end, one broker says. The risk loop extends beyond housing. Lenders use the same machine learning forecasts to underwrite loans. Insurance carriers use them to price premiums. When the model errs, the entire chain leans in the same direction. In 2008, the collapse spread through mortgages. In 2025, it could spread through models. Because when every system trains on the same optimism, failure becomes synchronized. Meanwhile, locals feel the tremors first. Teachers priced out of Reno's core commute from Fernley. Service workers share single-family homes subdivided into micro-leases. Young buyers hover at the edge of approval, waiting for a correction that the algorithms insist will never come. That tension between belief and reality is the quiet hum beneath Reno's skyline. You can't hear it in the construction cranes or see it in the marketing renders, but it's there, the digital heartbeat of overconfidence. And here's the danger. When the update finally arrives, when a new data set tells the models the party's over, they'll all adjust simultaneously. Thousands of automated valuations will rewrite overnight. Price histories will recalc, portfolios will shrink, and the illusion of safety will evaporate. The crash won't start with headlines. It will start with a line of code. In a world where machines buy the hype they created, correction is not an event. It's an upload. Reno has seen booms before. It's survived floods, fires, and foreclosures. But the next shock may not come from nature or Wall Street. It may come from the servers humming quietly behind the real estate signs. The risk loop is running. The only question is who notices first, the humans living in the homes or the algorithms appraising them. Nevada has always sold the future. From the glimmering casinos to the endless master-planned communities, every square mile of sand has been marketed as a promise of what's next. But in 2025, that promise has a new name. Smart. Smart grids, smart water, smart homes, smart cities. It's a word that sounds efficient, modern, inevitable. But in Nevada, smart doesn't always mean safe. Across Clark and Washoe County, government officials are integrating artificial intelligence into urban planning systems. Entire neighborhoods are scored by algorithms that measure traffic flow, solar exposure, waste output, and energy efficiency. The higher the score, the more likely investors are to pour money in. The lower the score, the more likely the community fades into digital invisibility. On paper, this is progress, data-driven design, sustainable infrastructure, optimized investment. But beneath the clean dashboards lies a darker layer of math, control. Because the same algorithms that predict growth can quietly decide who deserves it. Property tax forecasts in Las Vegas now tie directly to predictive consumption models. AI systems estimate how much energy a future household will use, how many deliveries it will order, even how much water its lawn will need. That data feeds into valuation software that can raise or lower a property's estimated worth before the house even exists. To a developer, it's efficiency. To a family, it's invisible discrimination. Wealthier neighborhoods, with more data points, score higher on sustainability and economic stability. Lower income areas, with fewer connected devices, fewer smart meters, and fewer digital footprints, are marked as low-growth zones. Capital skips over them automatically, not because of prejudice, but because of pattern recognition. It's not redlining on a map anymore. It's redlining in code. The smart city illusion sells equality through automation, but automation has never been neutral. When profit drives prediction, fairness becomes an afterthought. These systems don't ask who benefits, only what's efficient. If your data is incomplete, your neighborhood disappears from opportunity. If your lifestyle doesn't fit the optimized model, the algorithm doesn't adjust. It excludes. And every update makes the exclusion look cleaner, smarter, justified. Nevada's leaders call this precision planning. But precision can cut as sharply as it builds. Because once a system predicts your value, it no longer needs your voice. It knows what you'll spend, where you'll move, when you'll sell. And once enough of us let the data decide, democracy becomes a drop-down menu. The danger isn't just inequality, it's dependency. Cities that hand over planning to predictive models risk losing their intuition, their humanity. Decisions once made in council chambers are now rendered inside neural networks owned by private tech firms. Accountability fades behind proprietary code. You can't appeal to an algorithm. You can only hope it updates. Meanwhile, citizens mistake convenience for empowerment. A mobile app lets them report potholes or pay taxes instantly, but the same app harvests metadata for analytics. The infrastructure becomes self-aware, not to protect the people, but to predict their profitability. In Nevada's race to be the smartest, it may have built a city that knows everything except when to stop learning. The smart city illusion isn't the promise of technology. It's the faith that technology will save us from ourselves. But in the end, a city isn't smart because of sensors or servers. It's smart because of balance, the balance between progress and preservation, between innovation and integrity. Without that, even the brightest skyline hides a shadow. The lights may stay on longer, but the people beneath them grow dimmer. The city thinks, but it no longer feels. Every boom that built Nevada began with belief. The miners believed in the silver veins beneath their boots. The gamblers believed in luck. The developers believed in infinite growth. And now in 2025, the belief lives inside the machine. Artificial intelligence doesn't dream or doubt, but the humans using it still do. That's what makes this moment dangerous. Because belief, when multiplied by computation, becomes conviction. And conviction without caution is how markets crash. Across Nevada, belief hums beneath the code. Investors believe the models are right. Home builders believe the demand will return. Buyers believe the price drop will reverse. Everyone's waiting for someone else to blink first. The algorithms don't blink. They calculate. They optimize. They assume momentum is eternal. That's how a digital bubble inflates, not with speculation, but with simulation. It's a market convinced it's too smart to fail. But history doesn't care how advanced the software gets. Every system that prices emotion eventually meets the limits of fear. You can't quantify panic. You can't backtest regret. When uncertainty arrives, it doesn't trend. It cascades. Nevada's housing market is more interconnected than ever before. Automated valuation models update nightly. Mortgage platforms adjust eligibility in real time. Investment firms run thousands of buy-sell triggers across counties. If confidence slips by even a fraction, every signal fires at once. The crash won't sound like 2008. There won't be lines outside banks or televised bailouts. It'll happen quietly, on screens. A valuation model revises itself downward, an underwriting system pauses approvals. 1,000 listings reprice within minutes. The digital tide will pull back before anyone sees it move. And when it does, humans will still be explaining it while the code has already adapted. That's the paradox of the AI economy. It learns faster than we recover. But in the middle of the numbers, there's still something the algorithm can't replicate: the human choice to keep building. Through every bust, Nevada rebuilt not because of certainty, but because of resilience. People stayed. They reimagined neighborhoods, rewrote zoning maps, reopened shuttered businesses. Machines can calculate recovery, but they can't create it. That's still our bet, the human bet. It's slower, less precise, full of error, but it's also full of heart. AI may reshape how homes are valued, but it can't feel the value of home. It doesn't hear laughter through drywall, doesn't notice the desert wind at night, doesn't see a light left on for someone coming back late. Those are the things markets forget, and they're what make rebuilding possible. So will AI crash the Nevada housing market? Maybe. Or maybe humans will. Or maybe both will find their limits at the same time. But when the dust settles, it won't be the servers rebuilding the skyline. It'll be people, the same ones who believed in silver, who believed in neon, who believed that the desert could be more than emptiness. In the end, belief is the most dangerous asset and the most powerful one. You just have to decide where to invest it. You've been watching Artificial Equity, where the code meets the concrete. Subscribe for the next episode as we explore how artificial intelligence is rewriting the value of every home, every city, and maybe even the idea of ownership itself. Thank you and see you next time on Artificial Equity.